Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to Skye and Evan in the morning. And today we're gonna be talking about a Brazilian movie, arguably the greatest Brazilian movie of all time, City of God. Evan, what did you think of City of God?
I was quite impressed. This is we've talked about this before, those movies that you just hear are all-time classics and then you watch them and you're like, "Yep, that was pretty much what I'd heard." Um of all things, what this actually reminded me of straight up was Martin Scorsese. It's
It does have that
very
vibe, especially
similar.
the non-linear shit. It feels like Goodfellas.
Yes. And the use of soundtrack. Like
Mm,
it's a very violent like gang movie like that straight up has kids shooting and killing people, but
yeah.
there's this energy, this like playful, like in for the ride energy that like
Yeah.
movies like Goodfellas and this give you to show the appeal, show why people are part of this world,
Yeah.
even though it's violent. It almost always like leads
Yeah,
to
it's why
tragedy.
the
So.
kids would want to be part of this world because they see it as like exhilarating. But there's that amazing fucking scene with the kids where they shoot where Zepican shoots them in the fucking foot and they just fucking crying
Yeah.
and you're like, Jesus Christ, they're children, and they make one of the kids shoot the others. Fucking, it's brutal.
I was blown away that they committed to
Hmm.
that, because it's so easy to be edgy with violence with kids, right? You like make someone like they were a bad seed from the start, but it's like
Hmm.
this movie delves into like what violence at a young age does to people, and that the commitment to that, to being able to like hurt kids. They don't do it like in an exploitative way, but they don't also shy away from it because it's just the way the world works in this movie.
Yeah. It is fascinating,
I
and it's obviously based on a real story. It's not like the book is very different from what I read.
Yeah,
I've not read
embellish.
the book, but yeah, it's for one, the main character Buscapé in real life, he was white, so yeah,
Ah,
and he was more of an observer, and they wanted to make him more of an active participant in the
part of the
story in the movie, which makes sense. It would make for a less interesting movie because there are constraints with movie versus book, time constraints especially, but yeah, but the appeal from the
it,
beginning was making these like interconnected stories that you like go back and forth, and like because there are so many different characters and so many different stories. I think the cast had like
yeah.
60 like main actors and like
I
100
was kind
250 like supporting actors. It's kind of crazy.
The cast in large part does feel like a TV cast. And
Mm.
apparently there are TV spin-offs and like a TV movie based
Yeah,
on
there's a TV
this
show
this
that's
film. I'm not
come out very recently called City of God. The war rages on or something.
Yeah, no clue how that is, or if they're like they do a good job with like continuing it. It's always that concern with like adapting a movie to a TV show, but the cast is expansive and there's so many different stories going on, so many different relationships explored, and
Yeah.
they
And the movie just
they
goes
don't
back and
outstay their
forth,
welcome. It
and
doesn't.
yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's like they
Well,
introduce a character like fucking Managalinha. He had a fucking funny name in English. Is I don't know the names in English. Sorry, I watched the movie in Portuguese.
I was about to say that would be native. Like all the nicknames, like it's Rocket and what is it, Little Z? That like those are the main
Little
ones.
Z,
And
yeah, Little Z. I forgot that was what they call it. The as Epican, obviously. It's Managalinha is the guy that gets into the war with Lil Z.
huh.
I don't remember his name. I remember because for some reason,
Knockout Ned. He's the other
Knockout
player.
Ned. That's it. Yeah, because the chapter titles were in English in the movie for some reason, even though I was watching Portuguese. That was weird. Regardless, yeah, him, like he's introduced and he's just fucking, like shit. I don't even know how you'd say that in English. I don't think you guys have that, but it's the guy that that lets you in the bus. Um, and
Yeah, that was interesting. Like you're in the bus and then they like you pay to get through. Like you're
yeah.
in almost like a lobby. That's an interesting idea. Like in the
Well,
States,
yeah,
I'm sure you gotta pay up front
yeah, you
usually or
just
have a
pay to their
pass.
driver. Yeah, nowadays you do this in Brazil because they didn't want to pay anymore that person because it was like paying two people, the driver and so it got too expensive, especially with the bus prices going up. so they wanted to like from keeping the bus prices going even more up, they just you know deleted that job, which is funny because now there's like an empty seat behind like the counter at every bus in the country. Yeah, it's not very comfortable. Regardless, yeah, he's just like there working at a bus, and it's just like the most chill guy you've ever seen in your life. And then he comes back, and he just like when he comes back, he starts a
Yeah.
war, and it's fascinating because I was like, I was thinking like his side was gonna be the good side, of the war. Maybe he would change
Well,
Sonora. I assume his name was Carrot in English. Like it'd make him
yeah, it's
like
Carrot.
yeah, because that is his name in Portuguese, just like
It's a
translated.
hilarious nickname, Carrot. My
Carrot,
God.
yeah. But like I thought he was gonna like make him change for the better and everything like that. Like because there are certain aspects of this movie that treat like these gangs as like actually looking after their people, but they're still
Yeah, 'cause there's
ultimately
always,
like selfish.
well, that's what I love about gangster stories like Goodfellas. The Penguin had this as well. It's like there's a sense of like family or loyalty. Like
Uh-huh.
what are gangsters always known for? They always know everyone. They like
Yeah.
know your family. They ask like, "Hey, how's your mother like doing? Like what you like is your aunt like paid like this?" Like
Well, it's
they
the whole
they owe
thing
things and all
from
that.
it's the whole thing from Penguin where he like looks up to that one dude, right? Who everyone knew in the when he
Yeah,
walked down
I
the
forget
street. I
his
forgot his
name. That
name.
guy.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was Cobb's whole inspiration.
Yeah, the guy who plays him is really good. He's really
Yeah.
memorable. Even he hasn't had too many big roles. I remember looking him up. I thought I knew him for something bigger, but
Hmm.
yeah, that sense of brotherhood and loyalty is like throughout all the characters' relationships in the movie, and it they feel tangible as well. That's the
Yeah.
thing I like is the violence is just part of the world, but they don't feel like monsters. That like I said, they're caught up in the ride. They laugh and are like just cheering after that, and
Yeah.
it's and like you were saying with like the good side, because that's how it starts
Yeah.
is
Well, it is where he says like,
he
"Oh,
says he doesn't want
there's
to kill
some
anyone.
rules," and then he says, then he learns there's an exception to every rule, and then the exception
Yeah,
becomes the rule. Like that was fucking amazing dialogue from the narration there. Just like,
and
yeah,
the way that they closed the story out was ingenious in that regard, because that exception is what gets him
gets him
killed.
killed. Exactly.
Is
Yeah.
it like he kills the dad of one of in the bank, and that guy who he tried to help, and I love that at the end that he says like, why, what got you into this, like why are you here?
Hmm.
It's just someone on the opposite end, but he's just like, you shouldn't be here, you're a kid.
Yeah.
And and also the ending on top of that, which I love, is the note. The shot is ingenious because the final note, like the rocket gets like a bunch of pictures, and he like has pictures that prove police corruption, but instead of turning those in and trying to like make the world better, like you were alluding to, he chooses the path that boosts his own career.
Yeah.
And then when you have the chance to show him walking into the sunset, you instead follow the runts, and it's like those are the people that stay around. And I love how in the movie they keep saying like you should study. You should
Hmm.
study so that you can get out of here, so that you can get a better job and you don't have to be a gangster. And it's like in the end, he kind of cheats his way out of the slum, and he doesn't. It's not because he was a
Well,
good
it
person.
is
It's
the whole
because he
thing of
took
like,
compromises.
it's the whole thing of like these people are always like looking to game the system within, like even the best people within them, like Benet. I don't know what his fucking name is in English. The guy who
I think it's
dies at
Benny. That's what
Benny.
they call him.
Yeah, Benny. Right. They kill him, and where he was like, he's like they said he was like the best one of them, like the most honest gangster out there. But he's still, a fucking gangster. He's still like working with people, getting people killed, and like selling fucking drugs and getting people hooked. It's like even the most honest person in the whole favela is not gonna be a great person. It's like what they're saying. Like it's all caught up in gang wars, and it is interesting because a movie like this, you'd expect it to just focus on this time, but because it focuses on like the 60s first and then the 70s, it shows how like
Yes.
the favelas are built, how the city of God itself was built by just getting people, moving them into there, and because they were poor, like the government didn't care, they just like piled them on and just didn't care what happened to them. And so because of their poverty and everything, they resorted to crime. So it is like a product of their environment, and it's just perpetuated because it's created that whole culture, which, you know, still goes on. It's fascinating. It's like a very timeless movie because of that, because it's just like it's showing like the beginning and showing a cycle that hasn't ended yet. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And again, with the Goodfellas comparison, it's that whole time, like, over, you start with someone when they're younger and you show what their life is like as they move up, and the world changes with them. So you get a bit of different decades, and the city changes with the characters, and it's such a rich movie. I love movies like this that just have a city, and it's called City of God. I'm like, this movie characterizes a city over the course of decades, and it has a really good cast of characters, and it has a really good grasp of tone and the subject material that it's dealing with, and it's just really well made.
Yeah, it is one of
And
those movies that just it is just like, it's hard to find a flaw. I think it's like when we watch the Amadeus, or when we talk about like Oppenheimer, it's one of those movies where it's just like, it's just well made in every regard. Like, and the editing,
Like yeah, I was gonna mention that. I love, for one, the way the movie looks, that like early 2000s vibe, and like the more aggressive like white lighting on the faces during night. Like, no one does that anymore because everyone's trying to be realistic. But one of my favorite edits was the scene building to little Z knocking on the door, where they use the same shot and they use fades and they rearrange the room. It's like, it's been done before, but that was such an ingenious shot, like a genius use of editing to like move across time, but like, you know, build up to that.
It's just that one static shot, like the camera just stood still and like showing passage of time. And it's like, because it's the type of shot that is actually really hard to do, because it's not like they could shoot that in a day, because they had to like rebuild the sets over and over, because the sets kept changing every time, you know, the ownership changed of the drug selling place. I don't know how you'd call it in English, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
very
absolutely
beautiful
the
movie.
editing.
Yeah,
it's and also the non-linear like part of it. Like, I love that, the whole introducing characters and the like, yeah, we're not going to tell the story right now.
Yeah, not yet.
Like, we'll get there later, and then you know, you draw it back, and the movie ends that way because it opens. And I found that a hilarious opening, by the way. The chicken chase, they're literally chasing it down with guns, and like all the quick edits of like the sharpening the knife. It's ingenious.
It's so good.
Yeah, they connect it back very well. And this is one of those movies. It's an all-time classic for a reason. You will not be disappointed.
It is interesting. Because like, obviously I recommended this as a Brazilian myself. I'm familiar with this type of thing happening in Brazil, in the favelas of Rio. What did this film like show you anything that like shocked you? Because like, this movie isn't like very shocking to me, because like, I know this kind of thing is like, well, it used to be common. It still like happens quite a bit, and there's the whole, you know, the way the favelas have been like, you know, fucking infiltrated by cops and corruption and everything. Like, there's a lot of
in this movie too. Ironically enough, they've literally addressed that at the end. It's part of the end now. So
yeah, like the cops are all part of it. It's very interesting. But obviously, you know, the children fucking killing people must be kind of shocking. And the scene of Dadinho, or Zé Pequeno, little Zé, fucking killing everyone at the fucking motel, just smiling and laughing, like, that shit. I was like, oh, I get why people love this movie, because that was the scene.
Yeah, that imagery of him with the revolver, and it's so crazy because you're like, who did that? I'm like, must have been some sort of hitman, and you're like, no, it was just a little kid who did that. It's like, Jesus. And I that's probably the thing that's most shocking, because like, it's not uncommon for people that are like underage to have guns, but I'm like, it's how everyone's like 10 or 12, and you're just like, do they get them that young there? I'm like, I guess. And they show that, how you start as like a little dealer, and then you build up as like a ladder to climb, and you know, as you get older, you grow into the business. Like,
they literally say you have a career path as a drug dealer. It's crazy.
Is that like still common today, or is it like was it more of a thing back? I mean, this was in like 60s to 80s. I'm guessing like it's a different time
Definitely
now.
was more common. But it does still happen. The gangs are still, like taking control of the favelas. It's like it's rough because this kind of thing, it feels a bit weird, and like just like it isn't all that is there, and like there are other aspects of like living in communities like that aren't like this
Oh,
like awful like hell state. They obviously picked like the worst of the
yeah,
worst to make a movie
they
about it.
definitely try. They don't focus on like people. There's like no person who just bakes bread for people or
Yeah,
whatever. And it's just like the nice lady. It's like you kind of follow the people that are having a really rough time
yeah.
or in rough shit. So
Yeah. The thing was like that whole war and everything, it did happen. And there's another movie about similar stuff that I will probably recommend at some point, that is also a very very famous Brazilian movie called Elite Squad. So, um that movie also explores that more from the side of like police and how corrupt the police were. It's very interesting. Um and that one, if I remember correctly, it is set like later on. It came out, I think, in 2007, because this movie obviously is set in the 60s and 70s. Um, the Elite Squad, I think, is set in the 2000s. Anyway, I completely forgot what the point was. Oh yeah, if it still happens. Yeah, a little. It's just not as bad as it used to be. These communities, like they're not as unsafe as people would as like these movies like make them out to be. But yeah, that kind of shit does happen. The gangs taking control of the favelas especially is like a thing, but they don't rule the same way that they used to. They're not going to war all the time, but yeah, it does still happen, just not as bad, I guess.
yeah, I was thoroughly impressed by this movie. It's funny, like I said, there's just all-time classics that you just hear are great, and this is one of them. It makes people's top tens for a reason. It's a very poignant film about crime and violence, and and it's and products of its time as well. Like it explores the 60s and 80s and this whole culture, this whole like slum life. I loved it. I love this movie.
I'm glad. Yeah, I really, really loved it too. Heresy that me, a Brazilian, didn't watch this movie until now, but yeah, it
I
is.
didn't appreciate. I think I knew it was like South American. I didn't know if it was like Brazilian specifically.
Yeah,
And I didn't look up much of it. I didn't want to know. I just kind of wanted to be surprised.
yeah, it is one of those movies that just like everyone says is like one of the greatest of all time. So it is. It's funny. It has like a 4.6 on Letterboxd and an 8.6 on IMDb. It's insane. Everyone loves this movie, and I knew it was Brazilian, so it's one of those things I needed to watch it. But at the same time, I appreciate that I watch it now and not when I was younger, because it's it's not a movie for when you're a kid. So even though Brazilians should not watch this movie, it shouldn't be a thing of you know watching it too young, because it is very shocking in some ways, very graphic. Oh,
Yeah, classic, but maybe right time.
yeah, exactly. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all we have for today. Um,
Yeah, don't have too many other talking points.
yeah.
I imagine you'd recommend this.
Oh yeah, I think we both very highly recommend this movie for sure.
Yeah, glad to have finally seen it.
Yeah. All right, Evan. Now it's time for you to recommend something.
It is indeed. I had one that you would have hated before. I was gonna go with it until I realized the next episode, and probably this one actually will be in October. So I want to start recommending some
Horror, yes.
spooky season stuff. I watched the '50s invasion of the Body Snatchers in a film class,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very much a product of the Red Scare and like communism, and it's a like the story's like very much like a '50s movie, but I am recommending the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland.
Ooh.
I've heard very different from the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and very good and very terrifying. I've never watched
Alright.
it, but I saw the original, so I'm
I'm
going
definitely
with
gonna watch both.
70s
But
version.
I'm definitely gonna watch both in preparation. But yeah, fun. All right.
The first one's good. Like I said, it's a little dated and a little like cheesy, and the ending, they added like the end. It's one of those movies where they like added an ending that made audiences more satisfied, but like the intended ending is kind of better and more poignant. So yeah, maybe I should rewatch that. It's been years. So.
All right, fun times. I did not expect that to be a recommendation, and I'm glad to start getting into the fucking spooky season movies. I've been watching so many horror movies this week. I've watched like 80% of the Conjuring universe this week. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I saw you rewatched Annabelle. Oh my god, I still haven't watched a lot of Conjuring movies. I might be watching the new one here in a minute with a
They're
friend.
fascinating. I might watch Conjuring 4 Friday. Who knows? Those movies are fascinating. They're just outright just like Christian propaganda. It's so funny. It's so
and
funny.
The Warrens as well, like
Warrens, yeah.
super heroizing them. It's just like,
it's great because they were con artists in real life and they make them sound like the fucking heroes. It's so funny. But the Nun 2 might be the funniest film I've watched in like a couple of years.
I low-key have been tempted to watch The Nun because of exactly that. Like, I've heard it's funny, and it is just so jump scare filled. It's like, what are we doing?
The first Nun, it is, but like the Nun 2 is so much funnier. We might...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Might be a good one for us to watch and do a drinking game or something, because that movie's hilarious. It's great. It's great. Alright. Anyway, before we get too far away from the point, yes, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We shall watch that next week.
Yep. And spooky season start. Perhaps some interesting ideas we can come up with.
Yeah, I have.
Watches.
I think on my list I have one at least. Oh, I have two. Yeah, I have two horror movies on my list to recommend for the podcast, so that's fun. Oh, actually, I was just checking the wrong list. I actually made a letterbox list for it. It's private though, so you guys are not going to be able to get into my ideas. But yeah. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next week for Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.